Hey everyone, I finished watching the next Time Force episode, Nadira's Dream Date. I've always really liked this one. When I was a little kid I didn't really care for it. I kind of liked it more as an adult. I appreciated the humor more. Although a lot of fans don't really seem to like this one from what I've seen around people talking about this episode. A lot of people don't like it because it's a really goofy episode. Like some people had a problem with Rancic being kind of out of character, but I don't know. For Power Rangers, I feel like doing this kind of episode once in a while is fine. It's okay for them to break character and be silly once in a while. Kind of like in movie Madness, another Time Force episode that was really good and did a great job of being goofy while not, like, just destroying the characters. Like, there's other seasons where if the characters were just to suddenly break and be like this, I don't know, I don't think it would work. Like, one of the things with Time Force that makes it so good is the balance they had that was so good that allowed them to be able to go back and forth between having more serious stories and having really goofy stories like this one. So anyway, let's see, was it? Yeah, it was last episode. There's a thing at the beginning where the Rangers are teasing Lucas because he's looking at himself in the mirror. This one has the Rangers teasing Lucas because of a poem that he wrote that they find. But, yeah, anyway, the episode starts off with Nadira and Rancic talking, and Nadira's all upset because she has no romance in her life. And Rancic's like, ugh. I do like his reaction there, but he does love Nadira, and he does want her to be happy, and it's, I don't know, it's a nice little thing. It's a cool, like, extra bit of depth to his character that he's such an evil character, but also, he does have genuine love for his daughter, which is nice, and he just wants her to be happy. And then we get to the Rangers in the clock tower. Let's see, Lucas is writing something, Katie takes it, she reads it, it's a love poem, and they're all teasing him about, oh, is this for a new girlfriend? And he's like, no, it's for my first race car. And that was something I always loved, that, yeah, Lucas probably would write a love poem about a race car. So then Rancic revives a new mutant, Chameleon. I do not know how to spell his name. I wrote it out in my notes here. You know, I went to Ranger Wiki earlier. I probably should have looked it up there, but I didn't think to do it. Anyway, Chameleon, you'd think being a chameleon, he could, like, change his appearance or something, but he doesn't. Okay, yeah, his being a chameleon, none of his powers have any relevance to this episode. Like, you'd think that, like, if you know the plot of this episode, you know that it has something to do with Lucas and Nadira and dating, and that Chameleon would have some kind of shape-shifting ability that would play into some hijinks or something, but nope, that never happens. He's just a generic monster, he doesn't have any special abilities or anything, they could have used any monster. So, yeah, anyway, it's kind of a weird choice, but, like, it doesn't hurt the episode. It's just a weird thing, because usually Time Force is really good with having a monster with a specific, unique ability that ties in with the plot of, like, what the Rangers are doing, and whatever. Moving on. So, Chameleon goes and attacks the city. He takes Nadira with him. And, oh, there's a cool thing we haven't seen for a while. The Rangers show up, and then Nadira grabs a handful of nuts and bolts, throws them, and they turn into the Cyclobots. Oh. Okay. I remember when I first started rewatching Time Force, and I saw that way back in, like, the first or second episode, I was thinking, oh yeah, I forgot they do that. I don't think they do it anymore. Did they stop doing that? But turns out, no, they did do it here. Like 30-some episodes later. I think they did do it once or twice in other places, but yeah, it's not something we see often, so it's cool to see it again. So anyway, they're fighting with the Rangers, and Lucas confronts Nadira, and let's see, Nadira's fighting with him, and then she jumps up to kick him, and misses him, and falls in a bush. And then they just leave her there. Okay, I guess they don't see Nadira as that big of a threat at this point. So anyway, they demorph, they leave, and the poem falls out of Lucas's pocket. Nadira goes over, she picks it up, and she reads it, and she's like, this is for me. And it's kind of funny. Anyway, she goes back to Rancic, and she's all happy, And Rancic's like, "Oh, you're feeling better?" And then she's like, "Daddy, I met a boy today." And he's like, "A boy?" I just love how angry he gets, just instant turn, "A boy!" And then she's like, "Oh, you may not like who he is." And then he immediately calms down and he's like, "I'll like anyone you like." And she's like, "It's the Blue Ranger. I'll destroy him." Rancic, Vernon Wells, who plays Rancic, has a great grasp of, like, comedic timing. It's really good here. So anyway, once again, we get, like, a heel turn from Rancic, where he's instantly, like, siding with Nadira, and he's like, "Okay, I guess you like the Blue Ranger? The Blue Ranger's, that's fine, as long as he makes you happy." So then, oh, there's a funny little bit with Gluto, also, which, I do like Gluto gets a teensy bit of a bigger part here, because he's so overlooked in Time Force. He goes, "Oh, the Blue Ranger, he's the ugliest one." This is a funny little bit. So anyway, let's see, we see Lucas is on some job, he's working with plants or something, and Rancic is threateningly approaching him from behind. Then he grabs his shoulder, yanks him up, and Lucas is like, "Rancic, what are you doing here?" And then Rancic is like, what was it? "My daughter likes you. She read that poem." But the poem, wait, that was, "You're gonna make her happy." And then Rancic gives Lucas a bunch of stuff to give Nadira. "She likes flowers. She likes jewelry. She likes expensive perfume." And he just shoves all this in Lucas's face. "And you better make her happy." I love it. It's freaking ridiculous and hilarious, and I love it. So anyway, there's immediately a date set up with Lucas and Nadira. Lucas is at some outdoor cafe in a suit, and Nadira comes skipping along wearing this big white thing, big frilly hat. Then she plops herself down next to Lucas, and for some reason she puts on a southern accent, which I don't quite understand. Like, I guess she thinks that's high class or something? Having a southern accent? I don't know. It's a cute little quirk to her character, I guess. So then, see, Lucas is really nervous. He's about to tell Nadira that the poem wasn't for her. He doesn't really like her. But then he looks up and he sees Rancic is hiding behind a plant or something, telling him, "Give her the stuff." And that's just, it's so ridiculous seeing, like, the main villain, like, one of the darkest villains in all of Power Rangers, being so goofy, doing this sitcom plot. It's hilarious. It reminds me a lot of, in, like, Ninja Storm, Lothor would do similar things, although Lothor isn't quite on the level Rancic is, because, like, Rancic, the thing that makes this work so well is how often and how dead serious Rancic is. Like, he's not a goofy, jokey villain, and when there is, like, parts where he would, like, joke or something, it was usually more on the sadistic side, or it's to make him look maniacal. With Lothor, you're never quite sure, like, am I supposed to be taking him seriously? Because he's constantly making jokes. Like, there's a few like, in Ninja Storm, it's more like he's more often the goofy character than he is more the serious character. It's more of a departure, like in Thunderstorm, when he comes back in Dino Thunder, he's, like, dead serious the whole time. I think if he had been played like that in Ninja Storm, the goofier episodes might have come across a little better, like the episode I Love Lothor, where the whole idea is, he gets the idea to, okay, everyone will be on my side if I'm the lovable father in a sitcom, and they make, like, a dumb little, like, Cosby Show sitcom with Lothor as the father, and I think some stuff like that probably would have worked better if he had been serious more often, whatever. Anyway, I forgot what my point was. Oh yeah, Rancic works really well for this kind of plot, but for this plot to work, he can't be like this all the time. He has to have, like, some level of threat to him. So anyway, oh yeah, the date ends, Nadira goes back to Rancic's base, and Rancic's like, "So, how did your date go?" And she's all excited to tell him about it, and Gluto's in the back going, "Yeah, yuck." And then, let's see, Lucas goes back to the clock tower, he's about to tell the Rangers what's going on, but just then they're interrupted by Circuit telling them that Chameleon is attacking the city again, so they go to attack the city, And then Chameleon Khan is attacking Lucas, and then Rancic suddenly jumps in, knocks Chameleon Khan away, and starts dusting off Lucas. "Are you alright?" The stupid mutant. And then he goes over to the mutant. "I told you not to attack the Blue Ranger." What? You wanted me to kill the Rangers? No, not the blue one. Nadira likes that one. And just the way he talks to Chameleon Khan is really funny, and Chameleon Khan gets all flustered, and he's like, "Okay, not the blue one. Okay, yes, boss." So then, oh yeah, at the clock tower, after, let's see, Chameleon Khan retreats, the Rangers go back to the clock tower, and they're asking Lucas, "So what was up with you and Rancic? What was all that about?" And Lucas tells them what happened with Nadira, and Nadira's dating him, and they're like, "You gotta break it off with her," and he's like, I can't, and then they're like, "Well, then you gotta get her to break up with you," and so then they all team up together to make Lucas look as disgusting as possible. They, like, put his hair down, which doesn't really look that bad. Then they give him, like, a sloppy gray shirt and, like, dirty jeans. And they also make him really uncouth. It's funny seeing his changed, like, body language. He walks back to the outdoor cafe where he has another date with Nadira. "Hey, baby!" And then he plops himself down, eats, and grabs food from someone else's plate. And you can see Nadira's kind of like, "Huh, okay, weird." And then, like, Lucas just makes things progressively worse. Like, and also, I don't know how the Rangers could have done this. Nadira's like, "What's that smell?" And Lucas raises his arms. "Ugh, I should have showered earlier." Like, what? Oh, and also he was late to the date. "Sorry, I had a nap." And then he plops this duffel bag up on the table. "I have something for you." And she's like, "Oh." And then he pulls out, "It's my laundry." "Do my laundry, woman." Okay. And then, let's see, so she's like, "Oh, well, at least we can, like, order food." And he's like, "You'll have to order, because I'm broke." And that's the last straw. Then Nadira dumps him and goes crying back to Rancic. And then, so she's like, "Daddy, I don't want to see him anymore. He's gross, and worst of all, he's broke." And then, so Rancic brings Chameleon Khan back out, and he's like, "I want you to get the Rangers, especially the blue one. I thought you didn't want me to attack the blue one. No, especially that one now." Okay. That's a funny running bit, is like how flustered Chameleon Khan gets in this. So anyway, he goes back to fight the Rangers, and we get the standard fight. Lucas is prominent in it, not for any reason really other than this is his episode. Oh, you know what? Lucas gets some of the best episodes in Time Force now that I think about it. So anyway, they fight Chameleon Khan for a while. Chameleon Khan grows. They call the Zords. Eric shows up for some reason. That was a really weird thing I think they could have worked in a little better, is some reason for why Eric is there, because as it is, it's very jarring. Because, like, this monster isn't, like, a particularly strong monster or anything, and he hasn't even really been that much of a presence in the episode. So, like, I don't know if maybe the Silver Guardians were called in at some point to deal with him. I don't know, it's just weird that Eric is there. It's not bad, it doesn't hurt the episode that much. It's just kind of awkward that he's there when he's absent from the rest of the episode. But anyway, they capture the mutant, and then Nadira's moping around, but then she perks up when she sees this note with flowers on it addressed to her, and she opens it up, and, how is it? "Roses are red, violets are blue, I'm your secret admirer, and I'm waiting on the beach." And she's like, "Huh, that's not much of a poem." Anyways, then she goes to the beach, and there's this really great thing where the camera pans over, and we see a bunch of cyclobots dressed up like as waiters, and they're playing music, and then the camera pulls back, we see this table with a bunch of fancy stuff set up on it, and on the other side is Gluto with a dumb little top hat. "Hey, Nadira, I'm your secret admirer." And then Nadira flips the table over and storms off, and there's the episode. One of my favorite Time Force episodes, actually. It's a really fun one. I know a lot of people really don't like it because of, like, it has a more comedic tone, but, like, as the series goes on and we get more and more, like, comedy focused that's just not funny, it makes me appreciate these type of episodes a lot more. Although, like, I could definitely see they could do, like, a whole season of episodes just like this, and it probably wouldn't work, because, again, like I was talking about earlier, Rancic works so well in this plot because he's usually so dead serious and threatening, and here he's a goofball character. Like, I'm trying to think, if they did this kind of plot in Dino Fury or Beast Morphers or Ninja Steel, I feel like it could play out pretty much the same way, but it wouldn't really work as well, because so much of these seasons is already, like, so focused around comedy. It's not really focused around action, drama, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. It's, whatever, anyway. Not a whole lot else to say about it that I didn't already say in the summary. I really like this one. It's a good one, so, that's all for this one, I guess. See ya.